Hi everyone, and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So on today's video we are going to be carrying on with our Mega Games bundle pickup from Friday. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll stick a link up in one of the corners. Go and check out part 1 before jumping into this part. And yeah, you can see sort of what we actually picked up. We filled the car full with a load of absolutely amazing bits. So in today's video we are going to carry on from where we left off in the last video, and yeah, we're going to start off having a look at some PS2 games, and then we move on to the PS2, and we've got a whole stack of PS2 games in here. First ones that we've got, I think first couple here are sort of PAL games, and then we've got Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. So we have already got a copy of this in the collection, but it is the NTSC version, so quite happy to finally have the PAL copy. Released in 2004 by Kojima Computer Entertainment. How many times has that company changed their name? This action-adventure stealth game was set in 1964, 31 years before the events of the original Metal Gear. The story centres on a Fox operative codenamed Naked Snake as he attempts to rescue a Russian rocket scientist, sabotage an experimental superweapon, and assassinate his defective former boss. So yeah, quite interesting. I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy playing it to capture the footage. I literally got to a bit and just could not work out where to go. But yeah, I will admit I'm not a massive fan of the early Metal Gear games. I much prefer them sort of once they went onto like the PS3, PS4. But yeah, it's a nice addition in the collection. Looking it up online, it goes for £10 on both CEX and eBay. So the next game that we've got is Star Ocean Till the End of Time. This is a 2004 action role-playing game released by Tri-Ace. It's actually the third game in the Star Ocean series. In this game, it's based is science fiction in nature, but just like the first two games, much of the plot is set on an undeveloped planet. The game is set in SD 772, which equates to AD 2858. Now, what was really good with this one was the fact that it actually come with the bonus DVD as well. So even though we don't have the outer sleeve to it, we do have both discs, which is really good. Looking it up online, it goes for £8 at CEX and £10 on eBay. And I'll be honest, I've heard of the Star Ocean games, never really played them. So yeah, it'd be quite interesting to see about that one. Then this next one, and I will say when we were going through the games, this was one that Nikki immediately recognised, and I will admit so did I, because I have seen other people pick this up as well. So this is Ico, 2002 release game by Team Ico, and is an action adventure game. Ico is predominantly a 3D platformer game where the player controls from a third-person perspective and explores the castle in order to escape it. Ico is taken by a group of warriors to an abandoned castle, locked inside a stone coffin to be sacrificed. While he's sort of locked away, a tremor topples the coffin. Ico escapes, and as he's searching the castle, he comes across a captive girl who speaks a different language. Ico helps the girl escape and defend her from shadow-like creatures. So yeah, as I say, I have seen other people talk about this in the past as well. I will admit, absolutely love the case for this. So it's a cardboard sleeve with sort of a cardboard insert as well. It is complete, it's got everything in there, and yeah, it is just very different from all the other PS2 games that we've got in the collection. Looking it up online, it goes for £22 at CEX, £25 on eBay, so yeah, a really good pickup there. Next up, we're moving on to a couple of the Japanese PS2 games that we got. So, yeah, as I say, the well, I don't think I've actually said it yet, but when I was talking to the guy outside CEX, the reason that he was actually looking to get rid of this was actually his son's gaming collection, and he's moved over to Japan, and he's basically just said to them, yeah, just get rid of it all. So that's basically why he had it to get rid of. Yeah, as I said earlier on, there's a lot of Japanese stuff in here, and yeah, some really good additions. So next up, we've got Guilty Gear XX Reload, the Midnight Carnival. So this is known as Guilty Gear X2 in the West. It was released in 2002 by Arc System Works, and carries on the fighting game genre that the other games have. The story picks up approximately 2 weeks after the events of Guilty Gear X. Guilty Gear X2 features 23 playable characters, with 20 of them available from the outset. As I say, this is a Japanese title, so luckily we have got the Japanese PS2 that we can play these on quite easily. Looking it up online, it goes for £14 on eBay, and I haven't got a CEX price for it. Then getting back into the Final Fantasy games, really, we have got Final Fantasy X2 International and Last Mission. So released in 2004 by Square, this is once again carries on the role-playing genre for the other Final Fantasy games. This version includes new features, including new story that serves as an epilogue to the main story. Last Missions includes a new game titled Final Fantasy Last Missions, set 3 months after the events of Final Fantasy X2. So yeah, really interested in this one. As I say, it's not one that I'd seen before. I have to say, what I absolutely love about this is I don't know if you can see it on the footage, but it's got basically a foil effect to the artwork, and it is absolutely stunning. You probably see it there as well. You see it's reflective. So yeah, absolutely think this is an absolutely amazing box art, and yeah, really happy to have this in the collection. So looking it up online, it goes for about £10 on eBay. So not a massively valuable title, but still a nice one to add in. Then next up, we have got an American game. So before we've got a couple more. Yeah, we've got a couple more Japanese games, but I want to go through these next two games. Are a bit different, but they actually do go together. So first one that we've got is Xenosaga Episode 1. So yeah, I have heard loads about the Xenosaga games, never had a chance to play them, but yeah, when I saw that this was there, absolutely over the moon. So Xenosaga Episode 1 was never actually released in PAL regions. It was released in 2003 by Monolith. It's a role-playing game, and as I say, it was only released in the US and Japan. There was actually a large gap as well between the Japanese and the US release. So this was released in February 2002, with the US version coming out a year later in February 2003. And it was literally, I think, it was about within like 2 or 3 days of the full year mark. So I think it released in Japan, and then it was like a year. It was like 3 days earlier, a year later, that it come out in America. So Xenosaga Episode 1 is a role-playing game where the player controls a party of characters, navigating them through a variety of environments, titled to the progression of the story. As I say, this is the US version, so the only way that I can play it at the moment is via a ROM, but we have done that, so that's all good. Goes for £65 on eBay, which, yeah, this is an absolutely brilliant pickup for the collection. As I say, it is one that I've known of and have wanted to add it to the collection, but just not been able to do it up until this point. So, following on from that, the next game that we've got is Xenosaga Episode 2. This time it is the PAL release, and this was the first game in the series that was actually released in PAL regions. Once again developed by Monolith, this role-playing game, once again, just like the first game, had a massive gap between its Japan and rest of the world release. Originally it was released in June 2004 in Japan and followed over a year later in the US and PAL regions in November 2005. So yeah, I don't know why there's such a long delay between these games, but it is what it is. Based sometime in the 21st century, the Zohar, an artificial dating from the beginning of the universe, is unearthed by an archaeological expedition in Kenya. The Zohar is key to enabling humanity to travel beyond the stars and the solar system. Over 4,000 years in the future, humanity has left Earth behind to colonise the galaxy following a terrible event resulting in Earth's location being lost and the planet being dubbed Lost Jerusalem. So yeah, very, very interesting. As I say, these are a set of games I do really want to give a go to. So yeah, looking forward to getting a chance to play them. Unlike episode 1, episode 2 is a lot more easy to get hold of, especially because it would be in a PAL release. And looking it up online goes for £30 at both CEX and eBay. Then getting back to the Japanese games, we have got a special edition game on the PS2, and that is Kingdom of Hearts Final Mix. So this is the Platinum Limited Edition, and as you can see, it comes in its own sort of reflective, sort of brushed metal box. It isn't actually metal, it is cardboard, just the effect on it. Released in 2013 by Square Enix. This is the traditional action role-playing game based off the Final Fantasy series. Kingdom of Hearts Final Mix was only released in Japan. In the West, the game was called Kingdom of Hearts 1.5 HD Remix. The Kingdom of Hearts Final Mix features changes from the original version, including bosses presented in the English version, but not the Japanese version. Some other changes include new weapons, new enemies, new abilities, and new cutscenes. Now, this was one that really surprised me as well. Because it is once again a really high price game. So looking it up online, it goes for £110 on eBay, and yeah, absolutely amazed with how much this goes for. I will admit, looking at it, it is an absolutely stunning set. So I'll put up some photos of the like what's inside the box. But yeah, really happy to have that, and definitely say I've now got quite a good little collection of Japanese PS2 games as well. And then the last PS2 game that we got was actually another Japanese one, and this is Mobile Suit Gundam Seed. So this is based off an anime series of the same name. It was released in 2024, and this is a third-person action shooter. It's the 9th instalment in the Gundam franchise. Gundam Seed takes place in an era called the Cosmic Era. Gameplay is largely based on the Mobile Suit Gundam encounters in space, which is significant alterations made to fit the game's universe. Looking it up online, the game goes for about £6 on eBay. But once again, I love picking up these games. I think we've got a couple now. We've got a couple of Gundam games. I mean, we've got one on the PS3. We've also then got a Neo Genesis on the Saturn as well. Unfortunately, I can't play that because it is completely in Japanese, and it's one of those ones that you actually need to be able to read Japanese in order to play it properly. But in addition to the game, there was also a couple of extras in there as well. And I'll be honest, a couple of these I don't have prices for because I just couldn't find them. So first off, we've got a couple of pictures. So yeah, once again, couldn't find anything about these online. But I'll be honest, I don't know what I'm going to do with these extras yet. Then we've got a couple of books. So if I have a look, I think these are game guides. No, this one just seems to be more of sort of like an art book. So potentially I'll definitely keep that one. And this one, yeah, once again looks like an art book. I will admit, some of the artwork in here though does look absolutely amazing. So yeah, I will probably add them in to my sort of anime sort of collection. But in addition to that as well, there was also a couple of models to go with the series. So the first one that we've got is Freedom Gundam. This one, so looking at, I think there's about 6 in the series, from what I can tell. I'll be honest, I'm not a massive collector of these sort of Gundam models, so I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. I haven't made a decision, but I might in the future probably sell them. But this one, looking it up online, goes for about £35 on eBay. It is new, it's not been built at all. So yeah, that's an interesting one. And then as well, we also got Forbidden Gundam. This one's a bit more expensive than the other one. This one goes for £95. And once again, hasn't ever been built. So looking at these, originally, it cost 1,050 yen. So yeah, big difference there, shall we say. And yeah, that is going to be it for the PS2 bundle. But we're not finished with the PlayStation yet, because we do have a load of PS1 games. And once we've done them, then we'll get into the sort of big bits of the pickup. So first off, we've got a couple of US games. First off, we've got Final Fantasy VIII. This is the greatest hits collection from the US. So you'll see a bit different to our platinum versions. This one has a big green stripe down the side of it. I still prefer the black label, but hey ho. So released in 1999 by Square. Like the Final Fantasy games before it, Final Fantasy VIII consists of 3 main modes to play: the world map, the field map, and the battle screen. The game was developed during a period where Square was heavily experimenting with the genre. While the gameplay marks a departure from the series standards, it builds on those previous systems. And I will admit, I've not really played any of the Final Fantasy games. I'll be honest, I think my viewpoint of it has always been, I don't want to just dive in sort of midway through, but I think I've got to the point now where I just need to just jump in, give one a go, and see how we get on. I think I will admit, when I was playing X2, the international version of X2, I actually did get into that quite a bit, so I might jump in on that one and see how I get on. Looking it up online, Final Fantasy VIII Greatest Hits Edition goes for about £20 on eBay. And then to go with that, we also got Final Fantasy Anthology. So this is a black label, NTSCU. Once again, released in 1999. Final Fantasy Anthology is a compilation of Final Fantasy games. Originally released in the US in 1999, it was not brought to PAL regions until 2002. The US and PAL copies actually include different games. So the US version includes Final Fantasy 5 and 6, whereas the PAL version includes Final Fantasy 4 and 5. So I need to check. I'm pretty sure we have got the PAL version of this as well. So yeah, that would be really good, the fact that we've got both to go in the collection. Looking it up online, this goes for about £35 on eBay. Then moving on, we've got a couple of Japanese PS1 games as well. So first off, we've got Metal Gear Solid. So yeah, this is going to be the same as the PAL release. This one goes for about £20 on eBay. And once again, I've said this before, I am not a fan of this game at all. I don't think I've ever made it out of the first room when playing it. So yeah, not very good at that at all. Then next up, we've got Breath of Fire 3. So this is a 1997 Capcom release. It is a role-playing game, and it's actually the first game in the franchise to feature three-dimensional graphics and voice acting. Breath of Fire 3 is a traditional console role-playing game that requires the player to accomplish story-based objectives while battling enemy creatures in a number of fantasy environments. Now, looking it up online, this one goes for £25 on eBay. And yeah, it was actually an interesting one to play. Definitely one that I'm going to go back to and spend a bit more time on. And yeah, if I remember rightly, it is all in Japanese. I can't remember because it was a while ago that I actually captured the footage for these. But yeah, we'll have a look. Hopefully, if not, there might be an English translation out there that I can sort of find and sort of play that instead. I will say the next game that we picked up is one that I have had on my wish list. I actually saw someone talking about it probably about 8 months ago, and then when I looked it up, I saw what the game goes for, and I was like, I just couldn't justify spending that on a PS1 game. But then as we were going through, I was jumping for joy when I saw this in the bundle when we were unloading the car. But yeah. So this game, as I've said there, Linda Cubed. So this is a role-playing game. Originally released on the PC Engine, the game was later ported to the PlayStation in 1997. The game is set on the planet Neo Kenya, where a meteor is set to impact in 8 years, wiping out all life. The protagonist, Ken Challenger, and his girlfriend Linda are tasked with catching 30, 50 and 100 animals of both genders, and thereafter boarding an ark to save as many as possible. Now, this is it's very gory, very sort of non-PC. I'm actually looking and I don't see a rating on this. So normally, obviously, this must have been released before the Japanese rating system was brought in. But yeah, there's no rating on this. But from what I've seen, it is a very gory game. Now, after picking it up, I captured the footage for it just playing this version. But I think since then I have actually managed to find a fan translation of it. So yeah, definitely going to give that a go and then play through as much as I can. It is a Japanese exclusive. It was never released in the West. There was never an official translation done for the game. So the only way that you can play it in English is via sort of fan translations. Looking it up online, it goes for £90 on eBay. So yeah, definitely one that I want to give a go to. This was sort of quite high up my list of Japanese games to pick up. Then moving on, we've got some more PAL games that we were able to find. First off, we've got Front Mission 3, and this is a turn-based RPG mech game released in 2000 by Square. The mechanics of Front Mission 3 are a radical departure from Front Mission and Front Mission 2. While it's a tactical role-playing game, there is a stronger emphasis on the role-playing element opposed to the strategic elements in the other games. Front Mission 3 was the first title in the Front Mission series to be released in North America, Europe and Australia. So yeah, the other two were only released in Japan regions. This goes for £28 at CEX and £30 on eBay. And I have to say, even though I only played the tutorial level of this, really enjoyed it, and definitely one that I'm going to give another go to when I get the chance. Then next up we have got a fighting game, and this is called Evil Zone, released in 1999, and I will admit the company name behind this is absolutely brilliant. So Yuke's Future Media Creators. Yeah. So the story mode is presented as an anime, and every playable character has their own unique story. During the game, fighting occurs on a 3D field, with characters able to move forward, backwards and sidestep left and right as well. Most of the fighting is done with range-based attacks, but it is possible to attack with short ranges and use grapple moves on your opponent. I will be honest, playing this, I just got absolutely mullered. Could not get hardly any hits in. As I've just said, the attacks are predominantly sort of range based, and yeah, just could not get to grips with it. Definitely not going to be toppling any of my favourite fighting games anytime soon. Looking it up online, it goes for £25 at CEX, £30 on eBay. Then next up we have got Blaze and Blade. So this 1999 action role-playing game is a sort of hack and slash action role-playing game with heavy emphasis on puzzle solving. The game allows for characters to be created with one of 8 classes, and adventurers come across an ancient lithograph during their travels. It's supposedly very valuable, and you go on an adventure to try and verify the authenticity of the artifact. Now, this one was very interesting with regards to pricing, because there was a massive divide between CEX and eBay. So at CEX they sell for £28, but looking it up online on eBay, it's going for £90. So I can't remember whether it actually was in stock at CEX, so I'll put a little message down the bottom as to whether it's actually in stock at the moment. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Excuse me. Yeah, it's very sort of medievally type, and I struggle with those sort of games. I really struggle to get into sort of games in that sort of genre. But yeah, it will be one I'll probably will have another look at it in the future. But for now, it's a nice new addition to the collection. And then we get on to the last 2 PS1 games. And to say that I was floored by these is going to be a massive understatement. So these are actually 2 games that I have seen. Well, I've not ever seen them on the PS1. They have recently been re-released on more modern consoles. So yeah, that's how I've seen them. So I knew the name, but didn't know anything about the games. And that is, and I'm going to show them both together because I think that's how the best way to do it, is Tombi 1 and 2 on the original PlayStation. So they are both complete, and focusing on this one first. So this is Tombi. This is a action adventure platformer released in 1998. It was developed by Whoopee Camp. I think that's a brilliant name for a game studio. The game centres on the epigamous feral child as he attempts to recover his grandfather's bracelet from an evil race of anthropomorphic pigs. Tombi was received positively by critics, with praise for its control, visuals and various gameplay objectives. However, the game's audio received more of a mixed reception. And the reason why I sort of looked into that a bit more was because I could not understand why these games are so expensive. So looking this one up online, it goes for £210 at CEX and £220 on eBay. Yeah, absolutely floored. As I say, the only time I've ever seen these games was when I saw recently they were re-released for the I think it was the PS5, PS4, Switch, and might have been on the Xbox One as well, by Limited Run Games. I didn't pick them up then, but when I saw them in this bundle, I was like, oh, I recognise them. Yeah, I'll grab them and add them into the collection, having absolutely no clue what they were worth. So yeah, really happy to have them in the collection. But the second game is not quite as valuable as the first one. This one was released in 2000. This one goes for £120 at CEX, £200 on eBay. And by far these are going to be my most expensive games on the PS1. And actually they're pretty high up there with regards to most expensive games in my collection. So yeah, I was absolutely floored when I looked them up. Really happy with them, and yeah, some nice new additions to the collection. But now we're going to get on to probably some of the best bits of this pickup. Even more so than the bits we've already gone through. So first one we've got is a DVD that was included in with everything else. I'll be honest, don't really know much about it. So it's Red vs Blue Season 1. So this is a TV show that's based on the Halo franchise. Initially intended to be a short series of 6 to 8 episodes, the project quickly and unexpectedly achieved significant popularity following the premiere on the 1st of April 2003. Looking it up online, this one goes for about £25 on eBay. I couldn't find it listed at CEX, but yeah, I thought it was a bit of an interesting one. Probably not something I'm going to jump on and be watching sort of straight away, but yeah, definitely an interesting addition. Right, so next up we get on to a PC game, and this is a collector's edition. Now I will be honest, when we first sort of saw it in the bundle, it wasn't something that I was massively keen on adding to the collection. Purely because it's bigger than bigger than all of my big box games. With it being a limited edition, yeah, and it's not a game series that I'm massively into either. But that is Diablo 3 Collector's Edition. So yeah, this one, I'm going to see if I can pull the top off without it all falling out. So it's got all the bits in there. I think it might be missing sort of 1 or 2 bits. I think there are a couple of bits missing if I remember rightly. So I do need to try and track them down so that it is complete. But yeah, I thought, you know what, it's an interesting box. I've just got to try and find some way to actually store it properly in the collection. Looking it up online, it goes for £55 on eBay, and yeah, as I say, it's technically a big box PC game. But the next pickup, this is something that I have been wanting for the collection for absolutely ages, and I have seen it before. I very nearly had the opportunity to buy it. So last year, one of the videos, we went out to a collector's house and we were going through a lot of his PS1 collection. We ended up buying a whole load of PS1 games for the collection, and while we were there we also got the Halo is it Halo 4 standee. Now in the room that Halo 4 standee was being stored in, it's literally floor to ceiling, front to back, filled with stuff. And one thing I did notice in there was this next item, and it is the Halo 3 Legendary Edition. So this is the Master Chief helmet. Unfortunately the helmet isn't wearable, but even still it is an absolutely amazing display piece, and it is one that I've been wanting for the collection for a while. And as I say, when I saw it in that collector's room, I did say to him sort of like, well, when we can get through that room, I definitely want to grab that. But his one wasn't boxed, whereas this one is complete in box. So yeah, really happy to have this now. It is one, as I say, I've been wanting for the collection for absolutely ages, and to get it in with this bundle was even better, because yeah, looking the price of it up, it probably, if I ever do get to go through that room with the collector, it definitely would have been outside of my price range if he was anywhere near this. But looking it up on CEX, it goes for £180. On eBay it sells for £250 in a complete in-box condition. So yeah, really happy to have this in the collection. And actually, we've now got quite a few Halo collector's editions. So we've got the Halo Reach Rush, the one with the big sort of diorama, and then we've got this, and then we've got a couple of the collector's editions as well, like the steelbooks and things like that. So yeah, really happy to have this in the collection. As I say, it is one, I'm just going to move it over there. It is one that I've been wanting in the collection for a while. So yeah, when I saw it there, I was absolutely over the moon. Then moving on to the first console for today. It's actually down here. It is the red PS3 Super Slim. So some of you that are paying a bit more attention to my pickups will actually say, well, wait a minute, you've already got one of these in the collection. And yes, I do, but the one that we've currently got in the collection was a pickup from someone at the boot fair. And unfortunately, the back bit just here is all cracked. So yeah, this one, it's in really good condition. Sort of a couple of sort of scuff marks on it and that, but the case itself is in really good condition. No cracks, no chips, no nothing like that, and it does all work, so absolutely brilliant. I will say the other one does work, but yeah, to have this one in such good condition, I am going to swap them out. So I'm going to put this one in the collection and take the other one out. As well as that, it also comes with the proper controller that goes with it as well. Looking it up online, they go for £165 in unboxed condition at CEX and sell for about $250 on eBay. So yeah, really happy with that. As I say, I probably will. I think we've already got the controller, red controller. So I'll probably get that controller, add that with that one, and sell it all together complete, and then hopefully make back sort of most of the money that we would do if it wasn't chipped or cracked, sorry. Then we also found a black Model 2 Nintendo Wii. So it comes with everything, it just didn't have the Move controller. So that would have been the Motion Plus Joy-Con. This one, we have already got one of these in the collection. So what I'll probably do is I'll probably try and find a Move controller and nunchuck that I can put with this. I think we've got a couple scattered around. And then what I'll probably do is I'll probably just sort of ship this one on because, as I say, we've already got a Model 2, black Model 2 in the collection. I'm pretty sure it's a Model 2. I will double check, but yeah, if we have already got the black Model 2, then I will sort of shift it on. If we haven't, and the one that I'm looking at down there is actually a Model 1, then we'll keep it. So I haven't put double on any of my screen in front of me, so I'm probably but I put voucher. So yeah, it might be a double. I don't know. I'll put some I'll put down the bottom whether it is a double or it's been added to the collection. But looking it up online, it goes for £45 at CEX, trades in for a £30 voucher, and sells on eBay for £30. So if we do get it working, if we do get it all together, because I know it does work, so I've tested it, I will take it into CEX. Then we also, as I was going through some of the boxes, I also found a little PlayStation adapter. So this is actually the wireless adapter that allows you to connect the DualShock 4 and I think the DualShock 5 to a PC. Yeah, it's not something I've ever seen before, but something I definitely will use. Looking it up online, it goes for £38 at CEX, £40 on eBay. So yeah, it's a nice addition, and as I say, it is something that I haven't ever seen before. So yeah, that's really good. Then we're moving on to, so we've got two more consoles to look at. And these two consoles are both ones that I've been wanting to add to the collection for a while. The first one is actually a handheld, and it is a PSP Go. So this is a digital version of the original PSP. So it doesn't have a UMD slot. As you can see, it does all work. It didn't come with the charger, but I have since been able to get hold of the charger off eBay. And I've got the official PlayStation 1 as well, the official one that goes with it. So yeah, this is one that I've been wanting to add to the collection for a while, just never seen them out and about. And I haven't seen them at all, not even overpriced at a boot fair or anything like that. So yeah, really happy to add this. Looking it up online, they go for £120 of both CEX and eBay. So yeah, really happy to have that. And yeah, a sort of a nice, the final edition that I was looking for the PSP set. Then in addition to that as well, I also found an official pair of Sony, blue Sony earphones. I don't know anything about these, but yeah, I probably will add them in as sort of like a little extra sort of around and about. Actually, what I will say, looking up those headphones online, they actually sell for £22 on eBay. So yeah, I don't know anything else about them, but yeah, really interesting. Then we get on to, and I think it's it's not, second to last pickup. So this is the last console that we've got. And yeah, this is actually a Wii U console. And it is the Legend of Zelda Wii U. I will admit, I was absolutely over the moon when I saw this sitting in one of the boxes. As you all know, I absolutely love the Wii U. Whenever I can get hold of one, I'll always pick them up. And to see the Zelda edition in there was just amazing. It does come with everything. So it's all the power cables, the sensor bar, the charging stand, as well as the normal plastic stand as well. The only thing it doesn't come with, unfortunately, is the box. So once again, that is going to be added to the list. And yeah, along with what was the other thing? Oh, the GameCube at the beginning. So yeah, those are boxes that I'm definitely going to have. I've got an active search at the moment for the box. Unfortunately, people don't really seem to be selling the box on its own. It is normally a complete console. But with this one as well, what was also good is that it also come with, so when I was going through it all, I found the battery for the tablet. And I was like, but the tablet turns on. And once I looked into it a bit more, the tablet actually comes with the extended life battery as well. So looking the battery up online, that goes for about £50 on eBay. So yeah, really happy to have that, and definitely a console. I'm gonna be rejigging the collection in a little while, and hopefully I'll be able to get this one out as well on some of the shelves. Looking it up online, the console in an unboxed condition goes for £195 at CEX, and looking it up online, it goes for £150 unboxed on eBay. So yeah, as I say, definitely going to be keeping my eye out for the box for this. And then the final pickup that we got was one right from the very beginning that I was hoping for. And I will say, when I was talking to the guy that I got all this off outside CEX, he couldn't remember if this was in with all the stuff or not. And I'm gonna put photos of this up because it is just too big to try and get on camera. And that is the Steel Battalion Xbox controller. So we got the two games at the beginning, and I really struggled when I was filming that initial part to not say about this controller. But yeah, absolutely over the moon. This was a controller that I was really hoping to get at some point, but just could not justify the cost with it. Looking it up online, it sells for £240 at CEX, and goes for, that's in a box condition, and sells for about £250 on eBay. Now, the controller consists of 44 input points, mainly buttons, but also uses 2 joysticks, a throttle handle, radio channel dial, 5 switches, a eject button, and 3 foot pedals. So yeah, it is a massive controller. I'll be honest, I haven't had a chance to actually play with it yet. What I will try and do is, if I can get the time in between sort of filming this and the video going live, I will try and capture some footage of us playing one of the games using the controller. But yeah, as I say, this was something that I've been wanting for the collection for a while, but it was very much a nice to have. If I come across it, brilliant. But what I will try and do is, once again, I'm going to try and track down the box for this, because I would like somewhere to actually store it, knowing that it's safe. But yeah, really happy with that, and yeah, just absolutely over the moon, overwhelmed, overjoyed with everything that we've picked up today. But let's dive into a breakdown of the pricing. So all of the stuff, so literally on the day when we picked up from this guy's house, Nikki actually managed to get us an absolutely superb deal. I think I was standing there, but I was more interested in looking through things while he was doing the deal. And while we were there, the bloke's wife come out, and Nikki just turned around and said, "So what are you looking for everything?" And the guy was like, "Oh, well, I don't know, probably about 400 quid. And I just literally sort of like, I was like, what? And then his wife sort of chimed in and said, "Oh, no, I'm thinking it's more than that." And so, well, about 500 quid. And Nick was like, "Do you know what? Yeah, 500 quid sounds perfect." And he sort of jumped in before the wife could bump it up anymore. So yeah, he got us an absolutely amazing deal on everything. Once we got home, sort of split everything up, I ended up paying £270 for everything here. Now, considering that the controller would near enough pay off everything that I've paid, we've got an absolutely superb deal. As I say as well, some of the games I did not realise pricing until I actually got to sit down and go through them all. But in with the stuff that I picked up from the guy at CEX, I paid a total of £330 for everything that we've gone through today. Total value at CEX would be £1,848, sorry. So £1,848 and 50p. And then if we just get everything from eBay, we'd be looking at £3,433 and 50p. So yeah, absolutely over the moon with what we picked up. As I say, sort of the majority of it I'd never seen before, didn't know pricing. But yeah, there are some really good additions. And what I will say is, with some of the other bits, so I know that Nikki has sold the Final Fantasy pistols, and I think, if I remember rightly, I think he got about £150 for them, and then he did sell the Dreamcast already, which I think he got about £350 for that. So I know Nikki basically doubled up, or more than doubled up, on sort of what he's got, but he did get a whole load of other bits as well that he's also sort of probably going to sell and add into his collection. So yeah, really happy with everything that we've picked up. Now I'm going to try and sort it out into the collection. But yeah, I think some of it for now is probably going to go into storage until we are able to do the big games room sort out. So I know initially I said that I was going to be sorting out the games room before doing the games room tour on the 1st of March. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to do the games room tour, and then afterwards we'll go through and start sorting the games room. So yeah, stay tuned to the channel for those. But before you head off, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when new videos go live, as well as my games room tour, which is going to be up and live on the 1st of March. But yeah, with that said, thank you so much for joining today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.